We talk about insight meditation that leads towards enlightenment. Last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, we talked about two types of meditation: samatha, concentration meditation, versus vipassana, or insight meditation. In Buddhism, describes these two foundational types of meditation from the bedrock of practice. The first one is samatha, or calm abiding or tranquility meditation, focus on developing mental concentration and inner peace, involved mainly through mindfulness, Sati. And practitioner concentrate on a single object, often like the breath, a mantra, or visual image, and help quiet the mind and prepare it for deeper insight. Ideal for beginners seeking stability and focus. By itself, it doesn't lead to enlightenment. Second type, I call Vipassanā, or insight meditation, is unique to Buddhism. Aim at cultivating self-awareness, or Sampajanna, or wisdom in action, as well as mindfulness, Sati, which sees or retrieve a phenomena, so that my self-awareness come in, investigate the phenomena, to gain deep understanding of reality or insight. Builds upon steady mind, samadhi, developed through anchoring or embedding, not fixating on an object, like we do hand movement, body movement with walking meditation, or the breath movement through mindfulness with breathing. Involve observing thoughts, sensation, emotion as they arise through the four foundations of mindfulness that we just practiced, and gain insight into impermanence, imperfection, selflessness, or not self, the three universal marks of existence. Together, this practice guide the mind towards liberation and enlightenment. Samatha, or the first type, steadies the mind, while vipassana sharpens its clarity, like polishing a mirror and then using it to see the true nature of things as they really are, or truthfully are. This has been described in terms of mental absorption, or jhana, as two types as well. First one is arambanupadicchana, object scrutinizing jhana like deep mental absorption. Concentrate on mental objects like meditative absorption, focus on the object, or concentration or tranquility meditation. This is related to developing tranquility, samatha, or concentrated mind. This type of meditation focus is placed and fixate on a single object, such as breath, to cultivate calmness and stillness of the mind. Just like you fixate the mind on that this person wrap around a pole, so mind won't sneak anywhere. It will lead to it can lead to samadhi, samadhi, like ecstatic meditation, the attainment of pure exaltation through deep meditation, namely four form jhana, form divine jhana, and four formless divine jhana. We can touch base a little bit later. It's cultivated through sati, mindfulness, but lack sampajanna, or self-awareness. Therefore, no wisdom in there. But you can gain mental strength by itself, will not lead to enlightenment. So next type called Lakkhanupanishana, characteristic examining jhana, concentrating on characteristics, that is insight meditation, like four path of fruition, path to be a stream enterer, the once returner, non-returner, and the full enlightenment, and fruition from that same four type of person. Vipassana or insight meditation is called Lakkhanopanijjhana because observing all conditioning, all conditioned nature, uh, being embedded with the three universal characteristic or mark of existence, namely impermanence, imperfection, selflessness, and not self. The path is called Lakkhanopanijjhana because it makes Vipassana successful. When you practice that, it leads you to the fruition of stream enterer, the once returner, non-returner, and the full enlightenment. These are the four noble type of person in Buddhism. Because they focus on nirvana with one of the three characteristics of sunyata, emptiness, sunyata vimokkha, animitta vimokkha, or silence. The first one based on voidness or emptiness. The second one is animitta vimokkha, based on impermanence. Silence or animitta vimokkha. And then apanihita vimokkha is based on imperfection, desireless. And because it sees the true nature of the nirvana through this three angle, three aspect, and also unique to Buddhism. These two type of jhana was described later on in the commentary, not in the original Buddhist text. So we go into detail in the next slide. The difference of it. Samatha, a concentration meditation, your mind is fixated and absorbed into mental object, like you shine a flashlight. It's one beam, or laser light is the beam in there that you focus on, mental object. So mental object plays a major role. It absorbs the mind there. So with state mindfulness, so no self-awareness or no enlightenment. Just like you fixate by wrapping the object around the post, it doesn't move anywhere because it's wrapped right, it's fixated there. That's why I try to tell you not to fixate your mind there. So your mind have more flexibility to see thing around, which will be for the difference in Vipassana or insight meditation. The mind play a major role, not the mental object. The mind is chaining to a mental object, just like a dog being chained to a post, but he is running loose around that post, seeing true nature of things as they really are, like the three universal marks, or tilakkana, impermanence, imperfection, selflessness, with sati, or mindfulness, and sampajanna, self-awareness, and wisdom in action, leading to enlightenment. Just like the light on the lighthouse, it shines the light in all directions, but the lighthouse keep it poised there, it anchor there, but not fixate, not wrap around. It's the pole that it is there. And then on the other hand, it's like a light in the parking lot. It shines every direction, or like a dog being chained, it can run around. So mind played a major role there. Mental object, it's just uh, a certain thing that let your mind to see, not to be running loose. So you gain sampajanna, self-awareness, or wisdom in action. It's like you play a musical chair. Your mind can only engage in only one mental object at a time. So when one is aware, unawareness disappears. In Thai called Ru Mai Long. Just like the king is being retrieved to be on the throne with mindfulness, so he's being seized there, not going around deer hunting. He's ruling with self-awareness, wisdom in action. So he secured a fort, no enemy attacking the fort because he's there, with wisdom. He can defend the fort. It's like Long Po Tien, the meditation master, inside meditation master said, forget the front,ให้เอาตัวหน้า catch a back, ให้เอาตัวหลัง Long Po Tien. So because it's the one where your thought is being projected from through your mind. So don't be indulging in what is shown on the screen. You should see the origin of it, where the thought came from. So mind played a major role while it's being chained at a mental object, not wrap around or fixate, only chain or anchor there loosely. So you're seeing true nature of things with mindfulness, self-awareness, or wisdom in action. Just like when you're at intersection, you watch all the car with the bird's eye view. You can see mental object of each car, or your thoughts. Each car is your one of your thoughts there that pop up. So your mind can observe and see all the thought without bias, and do not anticipate in the thoughts, and not indulge in the thought, and not intervene. Maintain a neutral mind, equanistic mind. So each thought is like you don't jump into this car and that car, because that would be indulging the thoughts. You just observe it without anticipation, without indulging and not intervening. Just let it pass. So we'll go further in the nature of concentration, called samadhi. When your mind is more is steady, it gains concentration, concentrated mind. Described in the terms of progression leading to the state of meditative absorption, known as jhana. The classification of samadhi or concentration into three stages. One is called kanika samadhi, or momentary concentration. Second is called upachara samadhi, excess concentration. And then the third one, appana samadhi, or fixed absorption, or fixed or absorption concentration. It's kind of like stepwise, more profound on the third one. For example, momentary concentration, kanika samadhi, is the most basic form of concentration that we use it in our daily life. It's a momentary focus on the mind, on a specific object, such as when you're reading a book or driving a car or listening to me or someone speaking. Your mind is momentarily concentrate on that task. And this level of concentration is fleeting, is easily disrupted. It's a foundational skill that is developed through practicing like mindfulness, Sati, and is the basis of a deeper level of practice, considered to be minimum concentration needed for insight meditation, Vipassanā, even though it's very superficial, but it's enough to let you see the truth when you pay attention to it. And then access concentration, upachara samadhi, is the more refined and stable level of concentration and serve as a bridge to a deeper state of meditative absorption or jhana. In this state, the mind is no longer jumping from one thought to another, consistently focused on the meditation object. The five hindrances that we talked about previously, nivarna, like sensual desire, ill will, sloth and temper, restlessness, and worry and doubt, um, are suppressed, not completely gone. The mind is calm and clear. And the meditator experiences a sense of peace and tranquility, and the mind is very close to entering jhana. Not quite in jhana yet, not in deep absorption yet. This is also the stage where a subtle mental image, a meditation's object, may appear, called patipaga nimitta, may arise. Like you can see the Buddha image, and sometimes you can shrink it or expand it, enlarge it, and so on. So your mind is more focused on the image, deeper, more subtle than the momentary one. And finally, you reach the fixed or absorption concentration, appana samadhi. This is the highest level of concentration where the mind is fully absorbed in the meditation object. And it is a state of profound mental unification and stillness. It is synonymous with the state of jhana, named reciprocately. And then in this stage, the mind and the object of meditation become one. And meditator's consciousness is no longer aware of the external world or the physical body. I can show some picture later on. And the five hindrances are completely overcome. And the mind is filled with factor of jhana, such as rapture, piti, or bliss, sukha. Like this is a type of appana samadhi, or fixed or absorption concentration in the angle of tranquility meditation. Like this teenager that were practicing tranquility meditation, their body become stiff like a wood, like a log, in the posture that they went into the trance, into that absorption, like while their hand was crossing their chest or their hand was lifting up and bear the other side on the left side, angle it down. So they don't they don't know themselves, like the mind was basically deeply absorbed into that jhana. No awareness there. Sometimes you have to put them down because sometimes off balance they can fall to the ground. But don't hurt themselves because they're like a log. So we talk about the other angle of jhana factor, the five mental composite. There are five factor composite to a jhana, or mental absorption. These are the key mental qualities that arise and stabilize in the first jhana, or mental absorption, helping the meditator overcome distraction or deepen concentration. The five factors, like vitaka, apply thoughts, which are sustained thoughts. First one, direct the mind to the meditation object, like your breath or something. Like when you do the hand movement, you apply your thought towards, basically you concentrate on the hand movement. And when vichara, I mean it keep the mind anchored on the objects. Okay, and then After that, piti or bliss or rapture arise, joyful interest or delight in the practice. Then sukha came afterwards. Happiness arise with deep contentment and ease, and one-pointedness, ekagata, unify focus on the mind. So these are the 5 factors of jhana on the first jhana level. These factors work together to suppress the 5 hindrances of sensual desire, ill will, sloth, and torpor, restlessness, and doubt. If you have those 5 hindrances, you can get into the jhana. So as concentration deepens, grosser factors drop away in the higher jhana, which we'll talk about, yet remaining subtler state of awareness. If you are practicing the Vipassanā insight, you gain both tranquility as well as Sati, as well as self-awareness, because you still maintain self-awareness there. Has been described in the 4 foundations of mindfulness. The Buddha talked about people can be in deep jhana, but maintain this mindfulness as well as self-awareness, not like a log like the previous tranquility meditation. So tranquility meditation cultivate mainly sati or mindfulness. Insight cultivate both self-awareness, sampajanna, or wisdom in action, to investigate and mindfulness sati retrieve phenomena, just like a king on the throne. Retrieve him on the throne. Retrieve the mind to be there. So mind becomes the active observer while anchoring on a mental object for steady mind and mental strength through continuous practice. Atapi, that's the key words in the 4 foundation of mindfulness. Atapi sampajano stima, practicing diligently with self-awareness and mindfulness, to cultivate self-awareness and mindfulness. So mental steadiness in the first jhana is adequate enough for practicing insight meditation. You don't have to go deeper, because when you go deeper, sometimes there is no active thoughts or any, you don't see much of variation, less acknowledge of impermanence and so on, because it's too steady sometimes. So I'll talk about the second jhana. Um, the 5 factors become drop to 3 in initial application of thoughts and sustained application of thoughts have dropped out. Only leave with rapture, happiness, and one-pointedness. So then we move on to the third one, third jhana. You drop this, the bliss or rapture. Only leave with happiness and one-pointedness. That's the third jhana. And the fourth jhana, which is the highest in the form meditation, form divine realm. Um, the jhana here only left with one-pointedness and equanimity, the nature of the mind, step in there by itself, upekha, and one-pointedness, ekakata, only left with this, only the fifth of the 5 factors, but then the true nature of the mind step in with equanimity. So this is when concentration deepens. Some of these factors drop away, left with the more subtle state, which is ekakata. So people who reach jhana or deep mental absorption through appana samadhi, they further divide into different level of jhana. Like we talked about this before, in the 31 plane or 31 realm. In the 4 rupa jhana, a form divine realm. And for arupa, the formless divine realm. These are the form divine realm and formless divine realm on the top. So the jhana in this level represent progressively deeper states of absorption with specific mental factors appearing and disappearing at each level. But back to insight meditation, Vipassana meditation, its meaning to see things as they really are, or see the true nature of things, basically. It is a method of mental purification through self-observation. It is rediscovered. So it's always been there, but it's been forgotten through the dark age, eon of dark age, until another Buddha, self-enlightened, arrived. The Buddha would rediscover and taught by the Buddha, this particular Buddha, Sakyamuni, over 2,600 years now ago. So it's one of the most ancient meditation techniques. Unlike concentration-based practice that aim to still the mind by focusing on a single object, this one allows you to see the changing nature, impermanence, imperfection, selflessness. So Vipassana is a form of insight meditation that use sustained awareness to observe the changing nature of the mind body. This process leads to a direct experiential understanding of three universal truths of impermanence, imperfection, and selflessness, or not self. Insight meditation is unique to Buddhism in that sense. Um, so, what's the meaning of this concentration and insight meditation? Why it's been described in Buddhism? Because they're both useful. Ananda, personal attendant of the Buddha, explained that enlightenment or arahantship, the full enlightenment, attained through one of these four approaches, demonstrating that different meditators may develop the two qualities in different sequences. So this you can see that some different meditation center, sometimes they teach differently too. Like some majority would teach tranquility preceding the insight, or insight preceded by tranquility. But the drawback is if you don't progress enough in the tranquility, you may get stuck there. You never progress into advance into the insight aspect. So majority of them would grow meditator to be fluent in tranquility first, but some of them doesn't practice hard enough, may not progress properly, so may get stuck there and never gain insight. So the monk first develop deep tranquility or samatha, and then from this tranquility state, insight vipassana into the nature of reality is born. So sometimes when you gain tranquility, one-pointedness, appana samadhi, then they would let you change by, instead of sitting meditating on your breath, they let you go and walk so you can catch your thought as it arises. This is from Yukananda Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya. So the second aspect is tranquility preceded by insight. See, some monks are so smart in their wisdom, they may start gaining insight, vipassana, but they need mental strength to break through. So need to practice meditation to strengthen their mind with tranquility meditation. And from this insight develop um, with through deep tranquility, samatha arises. So Samatha came afterwards because I need mental strength to break through. But you need meditation, period. Otherwise, sometimes it's not enough strength to break through. The third type is practicing in tandem. Tranquility and insight in tandem. A monk develops both tranquility and insight simultaneously, balancing the two qualities. Um, in a yoga or maybe a mistypo or concurrent fashion. Basically, just use it together. The fourth is mind under control. The monk's mind has already overcome restlessness regarding the Dharma. It becomes inwardly steady, inwardly steady, settled, and concentrated, which naturally gives rise to the path. This is called Yukananda Sutta. So you can understand the first three. The fourth one, I can set example. Um, Through insight, you can see the three universal marks of existence. Physically, you can see the change there. Sometimes it takes time to see, like a baby in a crib, and, and then he become a toddler, become a teenager, become a young man, middle-aged man, old man, and death, like different chapter at the latter part of the book. So physical change may be easily recognizable, even though it might take time. Mental change is difficult to perceive because mind is formless. So mindful awareness allows you to become aware of the body movement. Through the body movement, dynamic meditation that we did, it can also catch a thought movement or mind movement with the same mindful awareness. So you come to see, witness the true nature of things, the three universal characteristics that things arise, endure, and cease as a norm. Impermanence, unstable, continuity, obscured. Just like when you haven't seen, you yourself won't see that you're getting older each day. But someone that haven't seen you 10 years, they met you and say, oh, you get much older now because continuity obscured. But the lack of continuity by someone who haven't seen you 10 years, recognize right away that you fall into the impermanence. Imperfection, unbearable, movement obscure, like when you sit for a while, you get uneasy, pain in your butt. You move around just to change the pressure point, movement obscure, and not self or selfless, uncontrollable, bundling obscure because like people have a stroke, then they see that it's unbundling. They recognize it's selfless or not self in nature. Because normally you can move the whole body around. You don't see that until they suffer. So this basically, they are but self-image hologram, self-concept that your mind built in temporarily. There's no true permanent self there. It's selfless in nature. You can see that things are impermanent, imperfect, and selfless in nature. Everyone disintegrate with times. So back to Vipassana, like mind played a major role. You're chaining your mind with the mental object, like the hand movement we did. It's like the mental object even move, like slide through the chain, this wire while you move around in the subtle form. So you gain a lot of self-awareness, Sampajanna, wisdom in action. And mind can see thing is the main, play major role. Can see your thought, catch all the thought that arise, like different car running at the intersection. So unawareness, or you long or blur in absent-minded, You basically drift into the thought. You lost all the one-pointedness and so on. You're in the thought there, drifting away. Mental object is in your thought. It's not absent-minded because you have unsteady mind, lack of concentrated mind, lack of concentration. It's like your mind is so weakened, like a kitten, don't know what to do with the mouse or the rat, because it's almost as big as the kitten, because you don't lack of mindful awareness. Didn't know they can cause harm, pour up, eat up thing around your house. But with awareness, you got samadhi, mindful awareness, settle in. When the mind drifting away in the thoughts, catch it. You're back to the mental object through your hand movement. See the mind moving around. Your thoughts, mind movement. No absent-minded. You got steady mind, samadhi. The mind concentrate again. By doing this frequently, your mind gets stronger. Your mind is in control, under control. Like the fourth angle that Ananda was cited. You catch a drifting mental object, absent-minded, because your mind recognizes it right away, that you have unsteady mind. See the drifting of your mind, swiftly recognized, called Tira Sanya. Remember clearly. You recognize right away your mind drifting away from your mind bodily movement. So back to steady mind again. It's very simple. That's one way to practice steady mind, through catching the absent-mindedness. Very simple. ไม่หลงไม่เผลอ. Like you strengthen mindful awareness. You know what happened next. It killed my mouse right away. It runs swift. So continue rising. So we arrive in thoughts. Basically, your ignorance, not seeing the truth, generate mental impulse, tainted your mind. Mental consciousness, you got imagination, nama rupa. So your sixth sense, fear, nose, tongue, body, mind got tainted. Contact, feeling got corrupted. End up with craving, clinging, becoming your thoughts, birth into the thought, wrapping your thoughts, and you suffer because you didn't take control. So arising of unawareness, end up with self. With awareness, all this break down. That's what the Buddha attained enlightenment upon. Paccayakana, how this and then he saw the end of the cycle, nirvana, selfless in nature. Paccayakayang, the end of the cycle. So just like you being ordinary people with unawareness, being caught in the biased thought all the time. Don't see the truth, that you're indulging the thought, you're becoming the thought, basically. Each thought is, each plane is flying around, get you in trouble all the time. But when you're aware, you empty out all those sneaky thoughts, back to the equanimous mind, true nature of your mind. So you can become stream enterer, the noble one. There are 4 levels in Buddhism. 4 noble disciples, holy person, Arya Bukkha. One is stream enterer, Sotaban, Sotapanna, destined to be fully enlightened in the future within 1 to 7 lifetimes. But I always mention it could be 1 to 7 lifetimes of thoughts, because you might drift away in a sneaky thought, like you're sitting here, you're drifting away, think about your daughter at home or your son at home. Oh, what is happening to him? I heard he's not very well today, and so on. And then it flashed back second time after another while, third time, fourth. But then you catch it by the fifth time, so before the seventh time. But because your mental concentration is not strong enough yet, but you can become once returner. You catch after one thought cycle, no second thought cycle moment. Once returner, Sakatagami, destined to be fully enlightened in the next lifetime. Thought moment, only one more life, a thought moment. And the non-returner, Anagami, person who will not be back in this world, they'll be enlightened in the form divine realm, the highest level of form divine realm that I showed a slide earlier. And then the fourth one is the fully enlightened one, the Arahant, the worthy one who will destroy the cycle of birth and death, samsara. So it's been described both in as monks as attain enlightenment, full enlightenment, but some lay people also attain to that level. Like I mentioned, like Luang Por Tien was lay person for 2.5 years before he ordained to help other people, not to advance any further. So what's the nature of them? The four holy persons, the first level, they're like 10 fetters or 10 bondage, unwholesome bondage. Sotapana, they get rid of the first three. One is identity view as a permanent self. This is no true permanent self. Or doubt in the Buddha is gone. And the third one, ascetic or ritual rules. They don't cling to any rituals anymore. And the Sakatakami, the once returner, they also get rid of the three feathers, but got a little bit better into unwholesomeness. They didn't get any more advanced than that as a Sotapana. But they got. So, and the Anakami, they get rid of the sensual desire and ill will, the non-returner. And the full enlightened one, get rid of the last five, desire for material rebirth. The sixth one, seven one, desire of immaterial rebirth. Eighth one, self-conceit. The ninth is restlessness, uttacha. And then the 10 is avijja, ignorance. In terms of morality, concentration, wisdom, um, they vary from the first extreme enterer. They're perfect in morality, minimum on concentration and wisdom. But when they come Sakadagami, they got rid of the same feather, but they're perfect in morality, moderate in concentration, but wisdom still minimum. The non-returner, perfect in morality and concentration, but moderate in wisdom. The Arahant is perfect in all three, morality, concentration, and wisdom. They got rid of all the feathers. So this is the other way to describe. And the Arahant, they break down, which will we talk about the uh, next week or so later on. It describes more of the different type of the Arahant, which we'll talk about in the next talk next week. So these are the four holy persons. What happened to them? Sotaban, the stream enterer, they recognize there's no real self and identity. Sakatagami, the less greed-headed delusion. They didn't achieve anything more, but less greed-headed delusion as a stream enterer. The third level, Anagami, they see that the material world is imperfect. No more sensual desire to be reborn in this sensual desire realm. And then the Arahant, the full enlightenment, they see mind itself is imperfect, not cling to any phenomena. So it's our body and mind is not worth clinging to, all phenomena not worth. And this is why it has been what described by the Buddha in Nirvana, the state of Nirvana. Basically, Buddha described that you're not clinging to the form realm or formless realm, and not clinging to the sensual desire realm. Say this realm, next realm, the sun or the moon, which represent the sensual desire realm, kama bhava, or the form divine realm, earth, wind, water, and fire. They still have the form, but their formless divine realm, basically they only have the mind, no form. They don't have eye, ear, nose, tongue, body to perceive things. They're boundless space, boundless consciousness, nothingness, or neither perception or non-perception. So these are not the three realm there, not the sensual desire realm, form divine realm, or formless divine realm. They're not nirvana. The Buddha said, monks, I do not call such status with coming, going, sustaining, death, and birth, which happen in those three realms mentioned. It doesn't exist in such status. Nirvana doesn't exist in such status. In Nirvana, there's no location for such status. It's not ongoing. It's not a phenomenon. No coming, going, sustaining, no birth, no death. It's Nirvana. And he said, that's the end of suffering. Basically, like I mentioned earlier, it's like the pure mind, enlightened mind, merged with the background of the universe, the emptiness there that allows the universe to keep expanding, the background of the universe, become one called nirvana.